All right, so it's time. Let's bring Coby in. And I'll try not to talk too much. Let's see. So Traven's letting him into the room. And is he there? I'm going to keep talking about him. I just want to say before he comes in, or when, there he is. Coby! Hello.
Hi, Shannon. Good to see you. It's been so long.
It is so good to see you. I miss you, Coby.
I miss you too. It's been a month.
It has. It's been a really long time. But Coby, our viewers are so excited that you're here. They've already been writing in and saying how much they love Locke and Key.
Hi everyone. I'm so happy to be here.
We're so happy that you're here too. So I already told them about the story about how I had to put tape on my mouth.
Oh, I remember that.
Because
yeah.
Because I don't let you talk. Yeah. I'm already doing it. Okay, so let's start out by talking about Locke and Key.
Absolutely.
And what it has been like for you having a hit show on Netflix.
It has, it has been such an amazing experience for me. It's crazy to think that only about almost 2 years ago, I was auditioning for the show and having no idea what it was, but then knowing the comic book, but just being part of the family and everything. The journey was just fantastic, and the awards coming after are even better. But being on the show, just filming and just being a part of everything, being on the red carpet, everything about it has just been so life-changing for me. It really has.
Wonderful. How did you find out that you got the role? Because people have this thought, Coby, that, roles just fall from the sky and there's no work that has to be done. What was the process and how did you find out that you did in fact got the role?
Absolutely. I did the audition back in November of 2018, and a week later they picked me for the role, which was amazing. And then we waited all the way to January, and then my agent actually called me, and my mom actually recorded me, and my agent told me about the role, and I was just shocked, but just so livid about it. And actually we just posted the video on Instagram. So if you want to see, you can check it out on my page. But it was just, I was so in my head for just a couple of weeks until we flew, because I was just so shocked, but also I was just so happy about it happening. But it was fantastic. It really was.
And you brought up the Instagram. Where do people need to go to follow your Instagram?
Absolutely. So you can follow me at the Coby Bird. So it's COBYBARD. So at the Coby Bird.
So THE though. You gotta say the Coby Bird.
Yeah. Got it. The Coby Bird.
And Coby is COBY, and Bird is like bird, which is fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got and they can see the video of them telling you that you got the role.
Absolutely, and it's
so great.
My reaction was pretty fantastic. I was still looking back at it, and I was saying, oh my gosh, I literally just decided to do what I did, but you'll see. But it was pretty amazing. I slammed my hand on the table because I was so happy about it happening, and then literally my voice was just like my voice was all strained up. So I was saying, I got it. So
and you were 16 at that point. You got that at 16. You turned 17 while you were filming it, and now you're getting ready to turn 18, which is super cool.
In a month.
Wow.
It's pretty fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. I can't believe I'm already gonna be 18. I remember meeting you when I was 14. That's just pretty fantastic. It really is.
It seems like a long weekend to go. Okay, so back to Locke and Key. This was not filmed in Los Angeles. Where was this mostly filmed?
We filmed over in Toronto, Ontario. Just that area we filmed in Hamilton, and we actually filmed up in Nova Scotia for one scene in a small fishing town called Lunenburg, which was just fantastic. That entire village was just so amazing just to be in, just seeing it. It felt like we were in Europe. it was a pretty amazing experience. It really was.
And what was it like being on the set for this? I mean, when you're filming something, how many episodes is it?
10 episodes. 10 episodes.
10 episodes. 10 one-hour episodes. And so you were up there for quite a while and on the set with all these people. And here you were, a 16-year-old, then 17-year-old on the spectrum. What was it like for you being on the set?
It felt like I was a kid again. It felt like I was on the Universal lot, but being around being around all the models and being in the sound stages, just everything, seeing the show come to life on screen, but just being there myself was just fantastic. Seeing all the keys, the props, everything just was my. If I were a kid, if I were 8 years old, I probably would be freaking out because I would just be so excited about being there. But since I wasn't able to tell anyone, I was saying the things I've seen on set are just fantastic. You're gonna like there's gonna be some amazing things happening in the show. But being on set was just fantastic. It really, really was.
I want you to know, Coby, that we got people writing in from all over the world. That Yana is writing in from Armenia. And wants from Armenia, and they said, Coby, so nice to see you. Oh. Love Locke and Key and Rufus. And Austin says, hi, Coby, love you, buddy. Awesome. Just lots of love pouring in here. So yeah, I mean, when people watch the show, they'll see that there are some pretty incredible sets, and to be on them and to be, with those, like, so cool. But there's a fair amount of snow too. And it had to have been cold up there too. Was this your first time being in the snow? You're in LA, baby.
Yeah, I have been in snow, but not like the snow in Toronto. I mostly the snow I grew up in before Locke and Key was we would go on trips to Big Bear, or there was some places up north where we would go see that have falling snow, but not somewhere where you would be living daily in snow. So being in full on snow, being out in the cold, I loved it. I loved it without a doubt. Like it was so fantastic just to be there. But but for the first couple months, it was pretty much a polar vortex. We actually discovered something called freezing rain on our weather app, and I was saying, wait, hold on, there's freezing rain that exists. That I had no idea. So that was pretty amazing. But as time went by, we loved the snow, and it was cool. And it was cool because actually being in Toronto, we got to see the season change as the months went by. So it was pretty fantastic. And right at the end, it was summer, and it definitely was a good way to say goodbye to Toronto. But being in the snow for the first 2 months was pretty fantastic.
And there were some actual scenes that you had to film where you were like out shoveling snow and all real snow, Coby.
The first scene I actually shot was in this shed in the middle of the forest, and it actually was snowing as we were filming. So the scene itself felt really realistic, and and having the snow come down, it wasn't dramatic, but it had a very good way of introducing Rufus because actually that was the first scene where Rufus comes in and introduces himself. But being in that scene was just cool, so cool. It probably was one of my favorite scenes because of all the production value and everything. It really was amazing.
And there were so many secrets that about what was, and I'm going to try not to do any spoiler alerts for those of you who haven't watched all 10 episodes. But you need to watch all 10 episodes because stuff happens and you go, oh, and just when you think you haven't figured it out, it spins it all on its head. But there were so many secrets about who was in the cast, where you were filming, what happens, if it was going to follow the graphic novel. Was that hard for you to keep all those secrets and not tell all of us what was going on?
There were times where it was, but as soon as we announced that I was going to be in the show, it was fine for me. But the one thing I did was when someone asked me, I would want to tell them because I love telling people everything about everything. Like I can go on for hours and hours about my favorite movie and what one of the best scenes are and why they're so amazing. But the one thing me and my mom went through was saying, just when someone would ask me, I would say, well, you just have to see for yourself. I can't say anything. You have to be surprised because I don't want to spoil it to anyone because I want them to experience it all blindly because seeing something without having any reaction to it or any knowledge of it, going into the show with no expectation whatsoever, it makes the show much more entertaining. And it definitely it does for me with certain things. So I want to be able to make sure that nobody would go on with big spoilers because actually it does get pretty twisty during the end of the season. But so definitely I didn't want to spoil anything. But as time went by, it definitely got a lot more simple.
And we should say, again, no spoiler alerts, but there's some pretty amazing things that happen with your character towards the end of the series.
Oh, yes.
So you don't want to miss that, you guys. Some pretty intense things. And maybe when season 2 comes out, I will want to ask you some more pointed questions about that. But I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. But, so you guys had to go far away to do this, and you were a pretty tight-knit cast, I understand. Have you stayed in contact with the cast? Are you guys like a big family?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We all stay in contact on WhatsApp, and we just talk there whenever we need to. But I think it's amazing being a part of that family, because being a guest star on other shows like The Good Doctor it's like visiting people, but being in a family from start to finish and being a part of that story from the entire journey, it's such an amazing, it's such a different perspective when you're in that kind of that kind of production. So it really is amazing.
Wow. So Michelle has written in and she says, hi, Coby. What was the most challenging scene to film and why? I don't know if we can tell that without any spoiler alerts, but what do you think?
I can try my best to keep, but so during the end of the series, I'm not going to say anything, but I do a big, there's a part with a big stunt, but I have a stunt double. It was probably the best scene I did in the entire show. But also at times it was the hardest because there were parts where I actually were during the prologue before the stunt happened, I had to do something and having to and they had a screwdriver so the way I was standing behind the screwdriver, it was the other way, so it was so awkward for me to pick it up because I would have to turn it around, because the problem is they want me to pick it up so quickly and stab it, but the problem is it was in the other direction, so I was actually unable to get to grab it. So finally they fixed it, but doing that scene itself was just fantastic, and having that challenge with it made it even more memorable.
I love that that you enjoy the hard stuff. I think that's a hallmark of you, that you're like, okay, so this is challenging and it's just that much more exciting. And somebody else said, have they confirmed the next season? And she says, no, spoiler alerts, I just started watching. And we're trying really hard to not give spoiler alerts, because I know some of you are just getting to it.
Yeah.
But they have confirmed season 2, have they not?
They have. Oh yeah. Oh, they have. Yeah. It's fantastic. I was so happy to hear about it. I'm so excited to see what happens later on, because in the comics it definitely gets pretty interesting. Even though the show is straying away from the books, I do feel as if they're going to introduce more keys because they've only introduced a small portion of keys in the show. There's way more in the books, and it's
really.
But yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I did not know that. Is has it been interesting for you being your popularity has gone through the roof and now you're considered a role model for so many young people? Is that great for you, or is that challenging? What's that like for you?
I think it's amazing because I've gotten so many messages from people, parents with kids who have autism, people with autism, teachers, teachers who teach special ed. I've gotten all sorts of messages and just such amazing messages and things and questions, and then and people telling me because of you I'm gonna be an art. I want to be an artist. I want to be an actor. I want to be a writer. And it's just an amazing thing because now people are because of me. They say, hey, if you can do this, I can do that. So having to follow dreams, having to follow their dreams, even though they are different from others. That doesn't stop them. So I'm really happy about getting that message through, and it really does feel amazing that people are looking up to me and realizing, hey, I can do this. It's not just because I'm different from everyone else doesn't mean I can't follow my dream job or what I want to do when I grow up. It should what you are doesn't define you. It's who you are. Who you are on the inside, and what makes you special is your personality and just who you are inside. Absolutely.
You always make me cry, Coby. You're such an inspiration. You always make me cry. Okay, and so do you have a favorite fan story? Since we were talking about how the fans have written to you, do you have a favorite fan story that just blew your doors off, that somebody wrote to you or came up to you? Or
well, I don't have any one-on-one fan stories, but actually I do have a lot of fan sets on Instagram, and that definitely is interesting. But I'm getting used to it. But I think it's amazing that there are people who are looking up to me and just loving the things that I'm doing and following my journey because having people who support your journey, who support you in your journey and who you are, it really is amazing. And everyone watching me, it's really cool because I've always wanted to be on the screen. People notice me, but I love acting. But I love acting just because acting is my passion. It's and having people admire me, but also look up to me. I really do like that a lot. It definitely isn't what I expected to as I've to do, but seeing it happen now is really amazing.
And somebody just wrote in and said, "You are so inspiring, young man," and I hold that true as well.
Oh, thank you so much.
Now, Brandon has a very unfair question, and you don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but he wants to know, who is your favorite person to work with on the show, like to do scenes with? Was there anybody that you in particular, or did you just love everybody? You don't have to answer.
Everybody. I don't like picking favorites, but I loved everybody, and I even loved everybody who I didn't work with because even though we weren't in one-on-one scenes together, I still made a lot of friends with the cast who weren't with me in scenes, and that's what's amazing because the entire cast is just full of amazing people. So many just kind, sweet people with good hearts, and they're just yeah, absolutely.
And your mom said that the whole cast and crew and the writers were just amazing people, that you guys had the best time. And I love hearing that. So Pamela said, "Hi, Coby, how are you?" Which I want to segue into talking about that, so here you are, you've done all this work, you come back from Toronto, you do the big red carpet, the show is out, and it's all very exciting. And then all of a sudden it's like COVID, now you got to go home and stay home. And you're coming to us from home. We're going to talk about all the cool stuff on your back wall there. But how are you doing with this staying at home phase?
I'm going to be completely honest with you, Shannon. I don't want to hold back from the truth, but I definitely want to tell you how I'm feeling. But it's been hard for me. I'm going to be honest with you. It's been really hard for me, and I'm sure it's hard for everybody. For me, it's been a challenge, not being able to go outside and not being able to do the things I normally do. Being stuck confined in my house. It's a lot. It really is. But the one thing I'm doing that's helping me calm down is having goals for when all this is over. But
Yeah.
it's one day at a time, and me and my mom actually just started going for walks outside, just around the park for a quick moment, just to get out because we've been stuck in our house for over a month and not even leaving it. And it feels good to be able to walk outside, to have the fresh air, to actually feel like we're outside. But even though we're going outside, I still am very wary about going outside because it just isn't the same as going outside as I normally do. Like having.
And are you wearing masks when you go out,
Yeah,
Coby?
that's the hardest part too, because I want to be
weird.
I want to be able to breathe the fresh air without having to wear a mask and gloves and just going outside like I normally do. But the problem is I get so scared of just going outside because it's too much for me. Like I want to be able to go outside without having to have so many steps and so many specific things, just so I can go outside and enjoy the fresh air. And that really is a lot, but it's one step at a time, and we're getting through it. And I'm sure that everything is gonna end and no time soon. But
yeah,
I'm still.
But being such a wonderful role model, and I appreciate you being honest with us and saying
Absolutely.
that this has been challenging, because I think anything about the truth is, we don't need that. But for people who are watching who are also finding it challenging, or their kiddos are finding it challenging, what has worked for you? And that's not going to be what works for everybody, but what has worked for you when it gets stressful? What are you doing to help yourself?
I read a lot. I've been reading a lot, actually, honestly, a lot more than I've been watching TV, surprisingly. I'm a huge reader. I'm a huge fantasy novel geek. I love comic books and just everything fantasy and sci-fi related. And I've been reading Game of Thrones, and that definitely reading stories has been helping me cope with everything. Also, I've been listening to music. Music has always been the one thing to help me with everything. It sustains me, and it helps me reciprocate with everything. And definitely is perfect for. And definitely music is perfect for what we're going through right now. So it definitely has helped a lot more for me. But I added. I'm a huge Japanese music fan, and I don't know why I did it, but I made this playlist that consists of Japanese music from the '80s, like classic, like all those classic songs. But I kept adding more songs, to the point where I realized I had 30 hours of songs on my playlist, over almost 500 songs on there, and I actually had to delete them out because they're taking up storage on my phone. So literally I have a playlist that consists of 400 songs on my phone, and I just listen to that when I'm ready to, and it goes on for hours and hours. So I can just listen. So I can just listen to it while I'm doing something, and it really helps a lot.
Wonderful. I mean, and the fact that you're finding the thing that you love and taking care of yourself in that way is a really fabulous thing. Can you tell us one good thing that has happened for you and your mom out of this having to stay home during this time? Is there one good thing? Because I keep asking everybody, what's the one thing that's good?
Just as being together. It's just as being together, being and having Zoom and FaceTime, and just that definitely is a big blessing for us, because we can still keep in touch with our family, and we can and my mom, and we have people who are like family to us, and my mom has specific days of the week where she FaceTimes them, and she calls a happy hour, and she just talks to her friends, because we both need socializing, even when we're distancing ourselves from the outside world. It helps us, because honestly, it's in our nature to be social, not in having conflict within that. It's a lot, but no matter what, there always is a way. There never is only one way. There's so many ways you can talk to someone, but it definitely is helping us with everything. It definitely isn't making us going crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, none of us are going crazy. So what, out of everything, what's the thing that you miss the most, or is the thing that you're going to do first when this is all over?
I miss a lot of things. The biggest things. The biggest thing I want to do is just walk on the beach, because I love the ocean. I love the beach. I've grown up on a beach. I was born in a beach town, so the beach has always been my most favorite thing. But also one of the biggest things I want to do is down in over in LA. There's a place called Little Tokyo, and there's this revolving sushi restaurant that we go to all the time. So that definitely is somewhere I want to go to, because in a way, once all this is over, that will be our celebration for the world, definitely, for the world finally being
back, our new normal.
Being back to normal, but also changing in a big way. So that definitely is our celebration for finally being free from our homes for almost 2 months. But that definitely is something I look forward to doing. And like I said, goals, like having goals for doing things after everything. It really helps. It really helps, because at least no matter what, even though we're going through these times, we still have something to look forward to when all it is over, and that definitely is the resolution to everything.
I want to tell you some of the things that people are saying. People are saying you're such an inspiration, very much an inspiration. Raquel wants you to know that she loved the relationship between Brody and Rufus. I think we all did. Oh my gosh.
I did too.
So many people writing in saying that they love Japanese music too, and that they love music. I want to say hi to Sapphire. Sapphire is saying hi to both of us. Jeremy has written in, and he says, this just makes me want to cry. Jeremy says, you make me more proud to be who I am. I too have autism. And somebody else says, totally agree with Jeremy. Now, somebody said, hi, Coby, you are so awesome. Some exciting news too. Autism advocate Dr. Temple Grandin heard about you, and she'll try to take a look at your show. So I want to pivot a little bit, because you're a fairly big fan of Temple Grandin's, and you just recently saw the movie, the HBO movie about her. And so I want to know, what did you think when you saw the movie?
I loved it. I thought it was a fantastic movie. And before I knew of Temple Grandin, but I didn't know all the amazing things she did. But finally seeing the movie, I finally understand that now. And it was out of everyone with autism, I think Deborah Grandin's the person I can relate to the most because I've had the same, because I've had definitely a lot of the same problems she had growing up. So having someone I can relate to is really amazing.
And in what ways are you and Temple alike? What did you see in the movie that you went, oh yes, that's I'm like that?
A lot of things actually, but there, but a lot of them I can't fully describe in words. There are some things I can, like for example, I have visions in my head that are very vivid, but I can't explain what they are because they come out of nowhere. Like sometimes I'll be just thinking about something, and then my mom will ask me, are you, what are you thinking about? And I said, I'm just thinking. I can't describe it. I have those thoughts in my head all the time, but also getting overwhelmed and being socially awkward. I definitely related that to that with Temple. In school obviously in school I was bullied a lot, and people thought I was crazy, and they would make fun of me for they would make fun of me for having autism and for being different and for the way I talked and just for everything, and I felt and that was something I definitely related to the most.
Yeah. It just breaks my heart. I just, the bullying part, it breaks my heart. If you had the opportunity to ask Temple Grandin anything at this point, we asked her the question the other day because that you and your mom had posed about, does she still have the cow squisher? But if there's something you would like to say to her or to ask her, what would it be? Yeah,
actually, I do have two questions, but the first one is does it ever get challenging to be a voice for autism? Like, does it ever get to a point where it gets too overwhelming, or does it get to a point where, or is it hard for you when someone approaches you and asks for an autograph in a photo, but does it ever get challenging or difficult for when you for being a voice, for being that voice, for being an inspiration for people with autism? That definitely is one of the biggest ones I have for her. And
I'm going to make sure that we ask her that question. But absolutely. Then what's the other question?
The other question is, what was it like having a movie that was based on you? What was it like having an actress play you, and how did it feel?
I think that's a great question. I can't wait to ask her that too. But I want to throw it back to you with the first question. Is it ever challenging and hard for you? I was when you did the keynote for Taka. This was that in the fall or in the spring? I've lost all track of time.
That was in the fall.
Was it in the fall? It was so amazing, Coby. I still haven't recovered from it. To see you up there by yourself talking for an hour and
absolutely.
Over 900 people who gave you a standing ovation that just like wouldn't end because you were so amazing. And then afterwards, people lined up for well over an hour to take pictures with you and get an autograph. And I remember standing there and watching you as person after person came up. And I thought, you're still a 17-year-old on the spectrum. That can't be easy for you. Is it ever overwhelming to you, Coby?
It's no matter what. I think always it does get overwhelming for a lot of people. For me, yes, it does. The keynote I was nervous about doing before, but me and my mom with the steps, we wrote the speech together, but most of it was just improv and it's me talking about my autism, but signing autographs, taking pictures, that it was fun. it was so amazing meeting everyone. But after that, but after all that was over, because actually I thought it was going to be at the night, but it wasn't. It was during the morning. But after all that was over, I slept for almost 2 days because
Oh my gosh.
I was exhausted after that. I could not. I felt so just physically and mentally tired. But
Yeah.
but
I don't know how you could have felt anything but, because you gave it all.
Yeah.
You were amazing, absolutely amazing. And I gotta say too, your mom's pretty incredible. Your mom is one of my best friends, and she's an incredible person. We've been looking at this wall behind you because you guys are a little bit into Disneyland and into Disney,
not much.
period. I thought for sure when you were going to say, things that you missed, it was going to be going to Disneyland, because I know that you guys go there occasionally. But all of these things on the back wall are things that your mom has made.
Oh yeah,
she's amazing, right?
Everything. And I'm telling you, my mom is so good at what she does. It's just amazing to see everything she does and how she in the idea she comes up in her head. And that definitely is something I have in common with mom. We both have ideas and we both want to share them. But seeing everything she does is just fantastic.
I just want to say that on Instagram, people can go to Some Imagination Creations and see some of the things, like that wonderful Neverland clock up there. So Some Imagination Creations, you can go there to see the things. But your mom does so many things. Your mom is good at so many things. And, over the years, you've done a lot of events for us, Coby. You did red carpets for us. And, watching you work the red carpet, I'm just going to be honest, you're better at it than I am. And, I make no bones about that. Coby is better at the red carpet than I am. But your mom,
that isn't
no,
true.
It's true. But I got to say too, that your mom also helps you to be prepared and has things on cards and your mom is like awesome. And
she's super.
She is super.
Yeah, she's super.
But I know that when it comes right down to it, I think she does a great job of preparing you for anything that might come. But then it's down to you. You step into the spotlight and you have to deliver. And when I've been watching you since you were 14, do different theater things. And then we watched you on Speechless, and then we watched you on The Good Doctor. And
now I'm here. Yeah.
And now here. And these people have not even seen you sing, Coby. And I'm telling you, you're Broadway bound, because this young man can sing, folks. He can sing, is what I'm saying. I don't know whether it's going to be American Idol or you're going to go to Broadway next. I don't know, but this boy can sing, you guys. But I'll tell you, when we started watching Locke and Key, we didn't think you were in the first episode. I don't know how I got that wrong, but you were in the first episode in a very poignant way. And I got to tell you, Coby, it raised every goosebump I ever thought about having in that first scene with you. It's just a brief moment. But for any of you who know anything about acting, for somebody to be able to do what Coby did in a second and a half in that first episode, it is some superior acting work, Coby.
Thank you so much.
It is. Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. When I saw that scene, I wasn't, when I watched it, I wasn't viewing it as me being on screen, just someone else. But I thought that's a great way to introduce the character, to show that Rufus has such innocence. That's similar to a child, that he's a gentle giant. Just having that introduction is a perfect way to show a character and to show what comes later in the show.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Absolutely.
We've only got a minute left, but people. So Somebody wrote it, Daniel wrote it and said, hello, I'm autistic and like what you're doing with this live show. Also, Coby Bird is a brilliant guest choice. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
So much.
And somebody else said that J-pop is awesome, that they love J-pop. And once somebody said, once we get back to normal, I can't see, there we go. Once we get back to normal and I have my K through 3 students with autism back with me, I'd love to show them clips of you so they can see others like themselves. Wouldn't that be lovely?
That'd be amazing.
And you guys, check out Coby's Instagram, the Coby Bird, because we can see you sing there, right? You've got clips of you singing.
I do, yes.
Oh my gosh.
I do.
Oh my gosh. I mean, just seriously, it's, so good. Unfortunately, we are out of time, but Coby, can I just tell you, I think I love you. My family loves you. We miss you. We can't wait to be able to get together. And
absolutely, yes.
We're going to try to have a karaoke night before we can all actually get together, but we're going to get together soon.
I'd love that.
Please hug your mother for me. I'm going to tell people if you want to see what she does, because she does some incredible custom work.
Fantastic.
Some imagination creations. Go to Instagram, follow Coby at the Coby Bird, and we just appreciate you so much for being here. Hey, thanks for watching Autism Live. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.